Okay, so let me go to my other camera. So here's my beadboard, and herringbone. You think of herringbone, things like parquet flooring and that, where you have the V's going up and down. And actually, herringbone beading gives you very much the same effect. So this, for example, is herringbone. Let me see if I can focus this. Herringbone using super duos. And you can make it twist. You don't have to make it twist. You can make it go straight. This is the same stitch. This is herringbone using regular beads. So again, you can make it twist, and you can see how it's already twisting around, and you can cause it to spiral, or you can just keep it so that it's just straight up and down. Not nearly as interesting. But again, you do get, not as pronounced, but you do get a bit of that V happening there, as well as between the colors. So now I've done this with just like 2 sets of colors. You can add as many sets of colors. Usually it's done in pairs. There is a way, Jill Wiseman has on her video a 3-bead herringbone. I've watched it. It looks interesting. I haven't tried it yet. But this is, what it looks like. Now, some of the stuff that I've done with it. So for example, I do like twist. So again, super duos. I put the beads in between the colors. Otherwise, you just see the thread that bounces between one and the other. And that bead, the size 11 bead between the super duos, just hides the thread, as well as gives it sort of an edge. And you can do each side a different color.
Doesn't that cost a lot to make in super duos, though?
It depends on the super duo. Some are incredibly expensive, but
all the ones that I've seen are expensive.
Okay. It can be. It can be. Usually a tube, maybe a tube and a half, will do a bracelet of each color. This was done prior to super duos. There were twins, and this is the same thing done in twins. So any 2-hole bead will work, actually. So this is, oh, there's my sample. Yeah, there it is. Gee, I did put it away. Here's another example of what I've done in super duos. This is one that I designed. And this is where I've combined size 11s and size 8s. And there you see that telltale sort of herringbone stitch. And what I've done here is actually put beads in between the sets. This is another 2-hole bead. Bring it down here, it's a little more in focus. So this is a checkmate triangle, and it's done exactly the same way. I've simply, you can see how I've just continued from one set of beads to the other, and it creates a tube. So this is actually quite hollow, and my clasp for this is a piece of that elastic stuff, and it just goes through, and that's the clasp. So this is my thistle bracelet. And actually you have the pattern for this in your instructions. I taught this at Bead and Button several years ago. So herringbone can also be done flat. That'll be another class. Again, you get a little bit more sense of the V's. This is done using triangles. And triangles, because of the nature of them, have wonderful sharp edges to them, and they really pick up the shape. There's the same thing done in size 8 beads. Again, it's flat. The difference is you do see the thread on the edges. This one I've blended it quite well so you don't see it. And again, you can do it with 2 whole beads as well. I call this my roses among the thorns. So it's flat using, again, the check beads, the triangles, as well as just a few super duos in there. And you get a whole different texture to it. And again, you know, smaller beads. So you can get a whole bunch of different effects using herringbone. And must teach that one. So, but tonight we're going to concentrate on the tubular. And to start off, I'll set this one aside since neither of you have, I will get back to this, but I'll concentrate tonight on the doing it with single hole beads. Now, it really is quite simple to do. You do not see the thread on the outside in tubular. It all goes inside. And you're working in pairs of beads. So why don't I just get started? So with this one, I'm going to recreate this. So we're going to do it in a non-spiral. So I'm going to actually pull a wingspan of thread. Whenever you're using thread, again, stretch it out. Take out any curl that's in there. If you're using fire line, you don't have to do this. I haven't tried herringbone with fire line.
I'll let you know how it goes. That's what I'm using.
Is that what you're using? Okay.
What would be the difference between the fire line and the thread you're using?
It may be a little stiffer. That's all.
Okay.
Not much more than that. Tension can be a little bit of a problem with no matter what you're using. So I've simply threaded my needle. I'm going to use a single strand. And I'm going to start with a ladder stitch. So I'm going to pick up, doesn't matter which color you pick up, I'm going to pick up 4 of one color. This is sort of a shinier brown. Let me turn that light on. There we go. And I'm going to bring it down to about 8 inches. I'm going to show you how to create an end of a loop of beads. So I'm going to go through 2 beads again.
Bottom 2 or the top 2?
Your first 2.
Okay, is first the bottom or the top?
Bottom.
Bottom, yes. Okay, I see what you meant. Okay, so what you have, you've got 2 beads sitting on top of each other side by side. I'm going to go through these beads again. So down, up. I'm doing it twice just so that they're nice and secure. I'm going to go down the second set.
Mine aren't sitting side by side at all.
Okay, just bend them in half.
Uh,
So fold them up and
I've
tighten.
done something wrong already.
Okay. Okay, so just pull it back, Linda. And then, so I find if you go like pick up all 4 and then go through the bottom 2 again, that will divide those 4 beads into 2 stacks of 2. Is that working better, Linda?
No,
Do you want me to start again?
I'm very slow to catch on. Once I do, oh,
Okay,
shoot. I'll try to not.
okay, let me start again. Just pull down my thread a little bit. So I'm going to pick up 4 beads. And I'm going to take them down to about 8 inches of my tail thread.
Yeah. And
Okay,
it's 4 same color.
for the same color. So I've got the tail in my hand here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stitch through the first 2 beads again, the 2 that are on the bottom. And I'm going to pull through.
But if you stitch through the ones on the bottom again. Okay.
Okay, let me undo this. Okay, so how I'm holding this, I've got the tail in my hand down here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the working thread is at the top, right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to stitch only through, so I'm not going back through the beads this way.
Yeah.
I'm going up through the beads. So I'm going through the first 2 that I stitched on. And when I pull through, that'll force the 2 that I didn't stitch through the second time to sit side by side with the other 2.
Okay, so your tail is on the,
I'm
your tail
left-handed.
is on the right at the bottom and your thread is coming out at the top on,
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
So if
Okay,
you're
okay.
right-handed, right? So you're probably
Yeah.
holding it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to do my opposite. Okay. I'm going to go through all these beads again, just to make sure that they sit nice and securely. So I'm going to go back down the 2 beside it. My thread's catching on everything, and then back up. So that holds these 4 beads nice and secure against each other. And that gives me a good foundation for my ladder stitch. Okay. I'm going to go back down these 2 because I'm going to add 2 more beads to it. So I'm going to go down. My
My
thread.
tension's already really loose.
Okay, try and snug it up as best you can. So that's why if you go through it again and snug it up, that will help. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 2 beads in my other color. I want them to sit right beside each other like this. And to do that, my thread is coming out the bottom. I'm going to stitch into the top. And when I stitch through, that makes the beads side by side. If they're sitting at the top, then you know you've gone around the wrong side.
Sorry, Pam, could you do that one more time?
Yep. Let me take my
Yeah.
needle off. What kind of dog do you have, Linda?
I've got 2 chihuahuas.
Ah,
They're not used to the door being closed.
oh, I see. They're trying to get your attention. I've just got
They
it.
hear something outside and can't see what it is.
Ah. Okay, let me just rethread my needle. Find the eye of it. Come on, in through the eye, that's it. Okay,
So the thread is facing down
yeah, so I've got the
in the second row.
in the second row. So my tail is in the hand, my hand, my thread is coming down out of the second set of beads. I'm going to pick up my new set of beads, 2 beads in the other color. My thread's coming out the bottom. I'm going to stitch down through the top. And when I pull through, that's going to force those new beads to sit side by side with the other beads.
Ah, got it.
Okay. And I'm going to go through that again because again, I want them to sit nice and securely. So I'm just going to restitch that.
So you're going up and then back down through the second row.
Yep. And then back up the third set, the set that you've just added.
Okay, so now we're facing up.
Yes. Now you're going to pick up another 2 beads of the color B, your second color. My thread's coming out the top. I'm going to stitch in through the bottom. If I stitch this way, they're not going to sit side by side. So I need to stitch through the bottom, whatever side my thread, opposite to what my thread is coming out. There we are. And I'm going to stitch through those 4 beads again. And back again down the new beads I just added. So now
we're back down.
Now
Okay.
we're back down. So now as I say, I can add more colors in sets of 2s. It doesn't matter. For tonight, we'll just deal with 2 colors. I'm just moving things away because my thread keeps catching on stuff. Okay. So now we don't have a tube yet. We're going to join one end to the other end. And to do that, I'm just going to fold this up like a taco. Like that. It doesn't matter whether you're folding it towards you or away from you, but you're going to fold it up, and we're going to join these 4 beads just like we've done with the other ladder stitches. But instead of picking up beads, we're going to go through the beads that are already there. So my thread's coming out the bottom. I'm going to stitch from the bottom up into the new beads. And back down. So I'm going to go do that again twice. Sorry, my thread is catching on everything around me here. Get this back in my hands. Let's go through this again. And this, by going through it twice does give me a good solid base. Now, I'm going to stitch back up. It turns into my color A beads like that. So what I have,
The first color or the second color?
the first color.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I have is this cube, and you can see the thread going back and forth. So that is my base for the herringbone. And we're going to do regular herringbone. We're not going to have it twist. So a row is where you go all the way around all 4 beads and come back. So whichever color you're going to start with, think of that as your color A. So to get started, I'm going to pick up 2 of my color A beads. I'm going to stitch down the other column of color A, and I'm going to stitch all the way down. And when I put that in, those 2 beads are going to sit where you can see they're sort of, you see that little V starting to happen like that. I'm going to go back up. Now the color B, all the way to the top. This is the second half of the round. And I'm just going to roll this in my hand so that I see the color B side. I'm going to pick up 2 of my color Bs and go down both of into the second stack of color B.
Not getting it.
Okay, don't worry. We'll be doing this over and over again. Okay, so I've done that round. I'm going to turn this again, and I'm going to go back up the first stack of my color A's right to the top. Okay, I'm just going to turn this, and I'm ready to add 2 more of my color A's. So when you add them, just go down 2 beads. So I'm going to down the first one and the second one, just like that. I'm going to pull down, and I just messed up because I went down the same stack, not the other stack. Don't do what I did. If you do something like that, don't worry, take your needle off and pull it back. Just pull the thread. Don't try to unstitch it because you'll go through a stitch and make a mess.
So now when I'm going through color B, I only go up 2 beads, right? Or do we go up? Oh no, or do we go up 3?
You have to go up to the top. Okay, so let me.
I'll wait.
Yeah. Okay, so now I've added my 2 color Bs. I'm going to go down the other stack of color A, stack of color A's, go down the second stack of color A's, 2 beads. Come on, get in there. We have an audience. There we go. So there is, you see the list there, how it's sitting. I'm going to roll it a little bit, and I'm going to cut straight across like that. And I'm going to go up to here. So to make it spiral, I'm doing it offset. In this case, I don't want it to spiral, so I'm treating it like a bunch of squares. So I'm going up the same number of beads where my thread is. I'm just folding my thread over so you can see where you're going. I'm going to go in that up 2. And you will see a little bit of your thread in between the 2 stacks like that. Okay. So now I'm on the color B side. I pick up 2 color Bs. I'm coming out of the first stack. I'm going down 2 beads in the second stack. Come on, get in there. There, holding it at an odd angle. And you can help them, just lay side by side like that. Okay, so that round is done. Again, I'm going to turn it. My thread is going straight across like that, and that's going to indicate where I'm going up. So going from 1, that's my step up. At this time, I'm going up 3 beads. So that's the difference. Let me do this again. So I'm to color A.
I'm still with the 2 beads of each color.
Okay, well, you're doing the same thing where I'm in. So the color that your bead thread is coming out of, what color is the bead?
Brown.
Mm-hmm. And is there a stack of brown beads beside that?
Yeah, with the wrong direction.
Okay, well, remember I'm left-handed, so I'm going in the other direction. So pick up 2 brown beads.
Even though I haven't done anything with the 2 that are there.
You've got a stack of 4, right? You've got that
I've got
of beads.
4 stacks of 2.
Okay. Then you are right where we are. So you're going to pick up your 2 brown beads.
Yeah.
And you're going to stitch into down the 2 beads in your next stack of 2 beads, stack
Of
of
the
brown
same-
beads.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, what color is the next set of beads?
depends on which direction I'm going. I've only done one set of browns. Are you adding one to each column?
Yep.
Or are you adding,
Yep, you're adding 1 to each column.
okay,
So you have 2 stacks of brown and 2 stacks of what color?
2 stacks of brown and like silver.
Okay, so you're going from one brown stack into the other brown stack, all the way down. Okay. And once you've done that, you're going to go up the first stack or the closest stack to wherever you are, up the stack of silver. And you're going to go
Okay.
right to the top.
Okay,
Okay, now you're going to pick up 2 silver
silver beads, yeah.
and you're going to go down the other silver stack.
Okay, I think I'm getting.
Yep, that's herringbone. So now
See,
you
if
have,
I had decent beads instead of these ones that are all different sizes, it would. I've just
Okay.
got crappy beads.
okay, but they're all relatively the same size, right? Like all size
Yeah,
6?
relatively, yeah.
Okay, so you're just 1 row behind us.
Okay,
Okay, so to continue, so once you've gone down the silver, the second silver stack, you're going to cut up the nearest brown stack. And then you're ready to do another round.
okay.
Okay, so we're back on color A. What colors are you using, Lisa?
A blue, like a royal blue and a pale mauve purple.
Okay, that'll
Blue
be
and
pretty.
purple.
Yeah.
I wanted something that was distinct so that I could
Yes.
see exactly what I was doing.
That's a good idea. Okay, so to continue, again, I'm coming up 1 stack of my color A, which is the shiny brown. And I'm going to pick up 2 of the same shiny brown or whatever color you're using. And you're going to go down the next stack 2 beads. And you can help them sit side by side. I'm going to turn whatever direction I need to. And I'm going to cut across to my color B in the same level, same row. And I go up, in my case, 2 beads to take you to the top of your color B stack. Okay, and then we add 2 color Bs and go down the second stack 2 Bs. And then to go back to where we were for color A, if you notice, I'm just cutting across. Now remember, we've already added a bead, so this is why we're going up 3 beads.
So it's creating, really, it's just got the A and the B are just sandwiched.
Yep, basically sandwiched together.
But they're not connected.
They're not connected at the top. No, they're
Yeah,
connected a couple
they'll
of beads down.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because when you go across and up, it secures at that level of bead.
Yes, yes,
Oh, like a zipper.
like
Looks
a zipper, exactly. So we'll do this a few more times, and I want to show you how you can adjust this, like to actually change something here. Okay, so again, Linda, are you following along with me here?
Sort of.
Okay. Do you want to watch me in your camera for a bit? And let me show you on the screen. Okay. So I've got, again, I'm coming up one stack of the shiny brown. I'm going down the other stack, 2 beads. And I'm just helping those beads separate. I'm going to turn it a little bit and I'm going to cut across. I'm just going straight across here. You can see where my thread is going. I want to go up those 2 beads. This is my color B. Again, turn it a little bit. I'm on my color B. I'm going to pick up 2 of those colors. I'm coming up one stack. I'm going down the other stack again, 2 beads like that. I'm going to turn it again. I've done the round. I'm going to stitch back into my color A on the same level. I'm not changing, you know, moving anything else. And I'm going up 3 beads. Okay. So that's doing your basic herringbone. It's not spiraling, it's not doing anything, but it is quite flexible. Now you do have this opening here at the top, which allows you to actually put things in between. Okay, so I'm going to, let me grab another color just so you can see what else you can do with it. See what color I've got here. I'll use one of these blues. It'll look really ugly, but you'll be able to, actually, I'll start with the green here.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of contrast between the ones that you're using, other than one is shiny and one is matte finish, but there is
Okay.
a lot of contrast. Like the one you've just put with the turquoise and the blue is
Yep.
much more distinct.
This one here. Okay, I'm going to put a blue in there. So I'm going to do what I was doing before with the shiny.
So now I'm back on color A.
You're back on color A. So pick up 2 beads, go down the next stack. Now, instead of cutting right over, I'm going to pick up a bead first.
Is that a smaller?
It's a smaller, but I'm going to I'll make it bold. So I'm going to pick up another bead, any bead, and now I'll go up.
So is that the same?
It's the same size.
Okay, just so I know what I'm doing.
This is the same size. But what happens now is that I can start making this bigger. And this bead will sit in between. Now, again, two beads down. I can go right back up, but first I will pick up a bead. Okay, so I'm back into color A and going up. So we can do that a few more times.
So when you go to cross over, you add the bead.
You can add the bead, and then when you cross over and go back up,
it sits.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you can introduce another color in there. It's not something you see a lot of, but you know, it's possibilities of how you can just sort of expand things as you go along. The other thing I could do, and I won't do it today, but you can start with, say, a size 11 bead and then start incorporating size 8s as color A and color B, and then incorporate 6s as color A and color B, all in the same color or different colors. And you can create sort of a bobble effect and go right back down. So you can go in and up of colors of beads, or sizes of beads rather.
Oh, so when you get to color A, then to start a new round, you would just pick up, let's say, if you're working in 8s, you might pick up a size 10.
Yep.
At that point.
Yep. That'll make it smaller. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So how are you doing there, Linda?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm trying.
That's okay. Remember, you do have the video.
Yeah.
You'll be able to, sometimes, you know, things make more sense the day after. Okay, so. Now, if I wanted to stop using these side beads, no problem. I could just go back to what I was doing before. Let me add some more of these beads. So now instead of adding a bead here, oh, I only went down one. I'll go down one more. So instead of adding another bead, I'm just going to cut over and join it without a bead. So you can create these little wings and stuff. This one's buried a little bit. I'm just going to pull it out with my needle. There we go. Okay. So that's one way of embellishing, you know, every so often. You wouldn't do it with brown and blue, but it's one way of embellishing along the sides of your beadwork as well. So you could use, you know, you could use daggers, you could use drop beads, anything like that, that will give you a completely different look than just straight up and down herringbone.
When you're adding the 2 and you're going down the next set,
Yep.
you go down 2 beads or 3 beads?
I go down 2 beads.
Okay.
Yeah. I find if I go down the 2 beads instead of 1 bead, it keeps my tension together a little bit better. And then I don't run the risk of, you know, pulling beads out of place. Now, at some point you do want to stop beading. And what I do then is to recreate what I've started on the first side. So to do that, I could stop it now if I wanted to, but I will just add another set of beads. This time I'm just going to go down. Actually, no, I won't add anything. So to end it, I do need to stitch up these top beads that are further apart from each other. So to do that, I'm basically going to do recreate the ladder stitch. So right before I add any beads, I'm going to go down I'm coming up one stack of the color A. I'm going to go down 2 beads without adding anything, without adding any beads. And I'm going to cut across and join these 2 beads as if they were those 2 as we were doing the ladder stitch. So that's what joins these top beads together. Like that. And again, bring that down, cut across, and then join the sides. So that's all joined now. You can see I've got the threads at the top and threads at the bottom. And how I typically end things, as you know, is with a loop of beads. So for this, then I would switch to some size 11s or whatever small beads you have on hand. And I would pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you want. I'll do 7. Couple things you can do. I like to go catty corner. So from one corner to the other. So my thread's coming out, for example, here. I'm going to go down diagonally into the other beads. And I get a loop of beads like that. I'm going to cut across. And I'm going to go back up those beads. So these beads are actually going to sort of sit in between. Okay, where are they here? So coming down there. And that is how, by creating a loop of beads like that and securing it, you could go through it a third time and then bury it. And that's what I would use to attach my findings to. Doesn't have to be that big a loop either. So. Okay, so that is doing herringbone with a single hole bead, just a regular seed bead, without doing any spiral.
Are you going to show us how to do the spiral, or
I'm
that's a
going to do
different-
that right now. I know. The spiral is so much more interesting, to be honest.
This really, yeah, it is
It
underwhelming.
works. It's kind of boring though.
Yeah.
It is kind of boring. The spiral is just so much more interesting.
All right.
Okay, so, but I wanted to do this one because you're going straight around without, and of course it doesn't add anything. When we are doing a spiral, your thread is going a little more diagonally between the colors. And that's what creates it like this. So as you can see, it's not going straight up and down. You can see how it's beginning to spiral. You still have this open section at the top, but you know, it's offset and you're forcing it to spiral around. So let me put these beads away. Put a few more of these out. I think you'll see a little more contrast in this.
And you said you're working in eighths?
I'm working in eighths, yeah.
I would imagine getting with smaller beads, it must be, you're going through so many times that the beads
holes
must
would
get
fill up.
clogged up.
The
Yeah,
holes would fill up. If you wanted to use fire line, I'd take it down to 4-pound fire line.
okay.
Mhm.
And beading thread,
Beading thread as thin as you can. Yeah, the thread really, it's not too bad. Sometimes you have to go into a thinner needle as well. And that will help, you know, get it through with the thread and the needle. So let me grab, actually I can use the same thread because you don't see it. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a length here. So I've pulled myself a wingspan. We're going to start it again exactly the same way. So you're going to start with the ladder stitch. So Linda, you might want to shift and we'll start it again. How I
Yeah, I'm
typically,
trying to find where my beading thread went to.
oh, okay.
Is it still two colors or more?
Still two colors, yeah. So go ahead. I'm going to pick up my two colors are going to be the light blue and the dark blue. So I'm going to pick up 4 of my color A, which is light blue. Bring it down to about 8 inches from the end. And again, I'm holding the tail in my hand at the bottom and my working thread is coming out the top. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. There we go. See if that will focus a little bit better. I might be too close to that. Just okay. So just like we did before, I'm going to go up through the bottom 2 or the first 2 beads that I've added, just like that. Pull it through and I'll get 2 stacks of 2 beads. Again, I'm going to go through all those 4 beads again, just to make it nice and secure. Like that, and then back down the second stack, and I'll be ready to add my color B. Okay. And as you can see, even with the ladder, that top set of beads actually does begin to herringbone. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up 2 of my color B, which are the darker blue, and right back down the second stack, my threads at the bottom. In order to make them sit side by side, I'm going to go from the top down. And again, I'm going to secure those 4 beads together again. So I'm going to go through all 4. and back up the stack of my color B or my new beads that I've just added. Okay. I'm going to add my second stack of the color Bs. My thread's coming out the top this time, so I'm going to stitch in through the bottom. And back down those new beads. Again, I'm going to go through those 4 beads again, just to make sure they're nice and secure.
So slow.
Pardon?
I'm so slow.
Okay, whereabouts are you? Just the big thing is,
I'm adding the first set of 2, but my thread is somehow gotten wonky.
okay, take your time. It's not a race. You do have, as I say, you do have the video.
Yeah.
So your goal is to get stacks of 2 beads, just like that. So, okay, so now we're going to join them. And I find that for myself, I fold them away from me. You might find that folding them towards you keeps your proper direction. Actually, if I fold it towards me, I'll try that. Okay, that'll make me go clockwise. Okay, so again, I joined the last to the first. Okay, so once I've joined them, I'm going to go up my stack A so that I am in place. So I'm at the same point where I was before. And I'll just pause here, let everyone try and catch up.
I'm with you.
I had to cut it and start all over.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay. So before we were going down to and up to. This one we're going to do a little bit differently. We're going to pick up, I'm coming up a stack A. I'm going to pick up 2A. And I'm going to go down 2 beads, just like I did before. I'm going to turn it. And instead of coming up 2 beads, I'm going to go up the top bead only of my color B. So my thread is going to cut across like that. So my thread's coming out, in this case, my light blue bead. My needle, as you can see, is going to go up the top bead of my color B.
So this is where you can see it.
This is where you could, well, you'll see it a little bit. Actually, as you pull a little tight, you'll see it for a little bit, but that's what causes it to start to twist on you.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see it at the beginning there. So now, again, pick up 2 of your color Bs, down 2, return it a little bit. And we're going up 1, just like we did before. This time we happen to have 2 because we have an extra bead from when we added it in this round.
So we're going up
You're going up 2, yes. And that's the difference between straight and spiral. So again, you can oh, you woke up. Hello. You've been sleeping all day. Again, we're going to pick up 2 beads, go down, 2,
So instead of cutting across,
You're
we're going
cutting
up.
across and up
diagonal.
one bead. Yeah.
So that means now we're going up. Cross would be 2 beads, so we're going up through the top bead.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Indy, don't eat the beads. And you can very quickly see how it's going to start to spiral.
So we're always going down 2 and then
Out of there.
So diagonal up 2.
Indy, I know you have food. Don't eat the beads. What? Out.
Little head.
Yes. No, don't eat the needle either. Don't eat them. No. Why don't you say hello? Say hello up here. Say hello. No? Okay.
Hello.
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 Okay. He'll be back
Hello.
down. Okay, so cutting up one. And even with the little bit that I've done here, again, 2 down 2, you're cutting up 1. So you're going up 1 bead plus the new bead. After a while, you don't see that thread. Because we started it with the spiral at the ladder is pretty stable, so it doesn't really go anywhere. So you can see how that really spirals a lot.
Yeah, it's starting. I see now. It is. It's starting to twist. Cool.
Yeah. So I'll just do a, I don't think this is where I would add other beads because it would interrupt how it spirals.
Now that I've got a bit. So if they're, let's see, I just added B.
Mm-hmm.
So now the thread is coming out under like the 3rd bead of B.
Yep.
So to go across.
You have,
yeah,
so you're going up 1 bead. So you're going up 1 bead plus the bead you added.
2 beads.
So that's
okay.
why you're going up 2 beads. So it's a little confusing at first.
Yeah, it didn't look right. I only went through the top bead, but that
Yeah.
wasn't right. You could put a little bead in
You
there.
could. Yeah, you could.
Let me see what happens. I've got
Sure.
some 11s spilled out on my down 3. So now I'm going, yeah, see, it doesn't look.
What have I done? Oh, I've missed a. And of course, if you make a mistake, just take your needle off. It's really easy to pull it back.
Okay, so I finally, on the second piece, I finally gotten the 2 sets of the 4 circular things started.
Okay.
So I add 1 bead, 2 beads.
You're going to add 2 beads.
Okay,
Okay. And then you're going down the second stack in the same color.
okay,
Okay. And this time, instead of going straight across, let me just thread my needle here. Okay. So let me add. So just like I'm doing here, I'm going down from light blue to light blue. I'm going down 2 beads, just like we were doing before, helping them sit up. And instead of going up 2 beads, like we were doing before in the new color, I'm going up 1 bead. I'm going up the top bead. So take a look at, so here I've added the 2 beads here.
yeah,
And in the other, we were going down, coming down 2 beads and going up 2 beads. This time, to make it spiral, I'm going to jump over and just go up the top bead only when I go from color A to color B. And that forces it to spiral. Now I'm on color B. I'm going to pick up 2 of my color B and again go down 2. That's my round. Again, I'm down 3. I would not go up 3. I'm going up 1 bead. In this case, it's 2. So it's again 1 plus the bead. I'm going through the bead that I added in this round. And that's what makes it spiral. So you're not going up and down the same number of beads. So again, I'm picking up 2. I'm going down 2. And when I jump to my other color, I'm going up the top bead only. And that pulls it out of place. And that's what causes it to spiral. So in my second color, my color B, again, 2 beads. I go down 2. There. And instead of being across, which would be 3 beads, I'm going up. I'm stepping up 1 bead all the time. So I'm back at color A. I pick up 2 beads of color A. I go down 2. I step up 1 bead. That pulls that closer. I pick up on
You're only
color.
stepping up 1 bead. I've been when I go down. Okay, so I add my.
Yeah, add your 2 beads. Yeah.
Now there's 3 beads, but when I look, so to go across would be going up 3 beads. Now I'm going up to 2 beads.
You're going up only 1 bead. Are you going from color A to color B or color B to color A?
From B to A.
You're going up 2 beads.
Oh, I am right. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
It's, and I've been adding the little size 11
Uh-huh.
when I'm joining, and it actually, it's really nice.
Okay.
It's nice. I think if you had the right color combination, it could be gorgeous.
Okay.
It does kind of fill in, it does kind of fill in where the thread, I can see.
Okay,
the
so you
thread.
can't, where like here where you can see the thread a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, between the two colors, the A and the B. Yeah,
It works, eh?
it does.
Oh, okay. I'll have to try that.
I think it looks nicer than, well, I was using size 8 beads when we were doing the flat one.
Yep. Yep.
I haven't done enough of it, but I think this it looks nicer on the spiral.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
show you.
yeah.
I'll do a bit more so we can see what it does.
All right. Actually, I've got some purple ones here. Let me just play with that, see how it looks.
They're tiny, so they sit nicely in that glue.
You okay there, Linda?
No,
Okay, where are you?
I'm no place.
Okay.
Makes no sense to me. I'm
Okay.
just not getting it.
It'll help to play the video when you can slow it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna give up on this one and go back to doing just the plain one that I
Okay.
started.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty.
It is
Yeah,
pretty.
it's purple. It's nice.
Okay. This sort of helps you track where you are as well. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't take long for it to spiral. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot there, but you can see how it's already spiraling. And as I say, you could add, you could add a third color. So you'd have 3 stacks of 2 colors. No, 2 yeah, you know what I mean. You'd have an extra stack of another color. And you would continue to do it the same way. Go down 2, go up 1, go down 2, go up 1, and then, just continue on.
Oh, so
Okay.
if it was 3 colors, then you'd have 3 ropes
Yes.
twining together.
Yes. Yeah. So for example, where's that other example? Yeah. So here, for example,
Oh, it's just a thicker tube.
it becomes a thicker tube. It's still hollow. So, you could put cords or anything like that through it and do all kinds of things with it. So, but yeah, you always have this sort of opening. They almost look like little W's at the top here. So, and again, you would end it the same as we ended the other by sort of creating that ladder effect and joining between the rows or between the colors. So, okay, I'm not going to finish this off because I want to continue this one and see where to take that. And again, you would do the same kind of an ending as I did here, with a much better looking loop than I've done there. So that's using the single hole. Now I want to show you, I have no idea what time it is, but
10 to 8.
10 to 8, okay. So,
Really? Oh, yeah.
okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way. Let me put these away so I don't get bead soup. And there it is. Okay, so super duos. They come in tubes, all kinds of colors, all kinds of finishes. So I've got 2 colors here, a dark green and an ivory. They are a bead out of the Czech Republic. They've been around now for a while, and people have really begun to enjoy working with these. And it works quite well for this. It's put together a little bit differently. Each hole is its own row. Okay, so I'm going to pull another length of thread here. And scissors, here we are. Just stretching my thread out. This needle really doesn't like to get threaded. Okay, here we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you do not do ladder stitch with this. What you're going to do is pick up 4 beads in one color, 4 beads in the other color. Like that. Okay. Ouch. Poke myself with it. And I'm going to go through all 4 of these beads again so that they form a circle. So my working thread is at the top, my tail thread is here. I'm just going to cut through all of these bead holes again, like that. And I'm going to go through the first bead. So that's what I have. Now because I'm working, because it's double hole, 2 of these are going to go down the ends. And the other 2, let me get that tail thread out of the way. Looks a little awkward, but that is what I want, is like that. Okay, so it looks sort of like an X. And what I've got, if you can imagine it being between 2 rows. At this point, it's a little awkward. Don't shake. And I'm going to go right into herringbone. I'm going to pick up a bead that's going to go between my colors. I'm coming out right there, and I'm going to stitch into the top bead of this top one. It looks really awkward, the instructions should be a little clearer. Now, at this point, I now can add 2 more beads inside of here. I pick up 2 of the same color, and I do this without actually moving my hands. I'm coming out the top bead, top hole of right there. I've picked up 2 beads and I'm going to stitch into the top hole of the next color. And without catching my thread on everything, that's going to force these beads to sit like that. Okay. I'm going to pick up another bead and top hole to top hole. I'm coming in between the 2 ivories. I'm picking up 2 more ivories. And when you do this, make sure that both holes are open. Super duos are notorious to have one of the holes blocked. So as you do it, just double check that the second hole is open. So I'm inside the V. I'm going into the next super duo into the top hole. And again, they sit in that perfect V. At this point, I've a little bit more to hold now, and I can hold them pinched. So I'm coming out here, pick up a bead, and I go into the top here. So I'm always going from one side to the other, and that's what causes this. Snug it up. And again, I'm coming out between the super duos. I pick up 2. I'm just checking that both holes are open. Going into the top hole here. So on one side, I'm basically going hole to hole on the same level. I'm between the 2 beads. I pick up 2 more of the same color, double checking that the holes are open, add 2 beads in between. So it's the same stitch, just a very different concept. And that's what you're getting is like that. Again, picking up a seed bead, going from this hole to here. That's causing the spiral. It's not as pronounced a spiral as it is with the single hole beads. So top hole to top hole, adding beads. There's that V. Top hole to top hole. Going from one color to another, and that's why I like putting the seed beads on. It does hide that thread. I'm in between this color. Pick up 2, top hole to top hole. If I didn't want this to spiral, I would, be going back and forth, just like I was before going, into the rounds and then stepping up. But this way, oops. And if you do that, don't worry. All I did was just accidentally pull 2 beads out of place. Cut through there. As I say, it's not as pronounced a spiral. So with that little bit, it has begun to spiral like that. So it's something you do have to keep tension on. And that's what helps cause the spiral so that you get, there we go. as I say, it's not quite as pronounced. It's a little more slinky. But that's how it goes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. So at the end, these two point down and you would join these. So let me just transfer my needle to the end. Okay, so I'm coming out between the colors. I'm just going to step up here. And join these together. So they do come together. There's that V. Again, I can pick up a bead and go between the colors. Pull it nice and snug. Like that. Kind of weird. That one's. Sometimes it's by guess and by golly, but yeah, there's the same thing. So to end it, I would go back in just to follow my thread path there. I'd come out at the seed bead. And at this point, I could add a few beads here for a loop. That's 2, 4, 5, 6. I'll just add 7. And I can go seed bead to seed bead. And then back up the loop. So those 2 seed beads that are at the bottom would act like the anchors. So that's coming out that side. I'd go in the other. So it's basically, don't do it that way. Wrapped the thread around the beads. Come on, undo. Okay, I couldn't do that again if I try. There we go. There. So you would attach your jump ring in that. I'd probably go through that again. You can bury your thread, do the half hitch knots in between, wherever you see them. And, you know, you would just continue to do along one end.
Now, how do you add thread when?
After adding thread is not bad. Actually, what I would do, let me go back to this sample right here. Actually, let me go to this one. So what I would do is to do a half hitch knot anywhere that sort of the thread is going in between, just to hide it. So let me pretend to add thread here. Well, I won't pretend, I will really do it with a different color. Actually, it's very easy to hide your thread in herringbone as well, because you have all these columns that it works quite well. Okay, so let me just thread my needle.
This is cool. It's really spiraling.
Yeah. So you could try that with size 11s, because you were looking at you were looking for a thin rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very thick.
Okay. So I've threaded a new needle. I would attach it by finding a thread. Let me zoom in here a little bit more so you can see. Is back down here. where you have the threads going between the colors
Yeah.
like that. I would pull it through, tie an overhand knot. It doesn't have to be a double knot, just an overhand knot. Oh, you're back. Okay. And then I would follow the column up to where my other thread is, like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then to bury my threads. So if I wanted to bury this thread that I've just used, again, I've taken it off my needle. I'll thread this needle. I didn't leave very much thread to work with. So I've already tied it to the needle here, or to the knot thread that was there.
Yeah.
I take it down one more and just sort of half hitch it to another thread. Take it down. Where are you going, Indy? So I've just half hitched it now 3 times. I can take it to any of these columns. Let's take it over to the dark blue column. And I can just simply travel up the beads. So I've buried it. I can cut my thread now away from that knot. You see it a little bit there. You do a better job than I just did. And then you can continue on working with the new thread, and you would just at some point secure the old working thread and bury it the same way. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, Indy, where are you going? Okay. So that is, 3 ways of doing tubular herringbone. Let me zoom out here. So, you can, as I say, you have the instructions for this. Actually, let me stop the sharing here and let me share, because I've got the instructions open on another screen. Okay, so let me
I
just
have
open.
oh, you are using Word. Now that I've done so many of your classes and I have a whole binder full of all these, I realize that when I take out a project, the pages aren't numbered. So
I'm starting to number them.
you could put in the footer, it would say tubular herring page 1 of 3.
Yeah.
Then when I take it out, then I know where to put it back, because I'm
Yeah, no, I've started putting it up in the numbers. I haven't added the other, but yeah, I have started actually putting the page numbers on it. I've had many people say, excuse me, could you do this?
yeah, I can show
So-
you how to do it so it does it automatically if you need help.
Actually, that would be handy. So it's
Okay, I'll show you later.
okay. But so here, I've got a little bit again of the tubular herringbone, where you're going up and down the same all the time, and it just builds up as you go. I say I've got this is as I say, I'm redoing this. Here again, you're starting with the spiral. You're starting with the same ladder stitch, and you're sort of alternating where you're going. So and here's for the tubular herringbone for the two hole beads. So you can make it spiral or not make it spiral. It's not quite as tight. But you can also actually do flat herringbone. Well, this is actually tubular, but you can create a bead as well. So that's in there. It's a little, I'll show you this when we get back to the other sharing, but you're adding, you know, as you go along with beads in between. So that's using another set of 2-hole beads. Unfortunately, Bead Effects has discontinued them, but it works the same, you know, with any 2-hole bead. And if you really want to try something once you get going, there's the thistle bracelet. And it starts, and you're literally picking up a bunch, working in a tube. So it's a little bit different. And you're going up and down. And as you're going up and down, you're adding a bead in between the columns, the stacks. And that's how you get sort of the extra bit happening. So as I say, I am in the process of redoing these instructions now that I have a camera that can take pictures of them. So yeah, so let me go back to the other share screen. Oops, wrong one. Come on, hit share screen. That's it. Advanced. Now we do the other. So that bead actually looks like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So play with that. That's something I sort of made up myself. It does slide.
Wow.
It will slide along there. And it's really just a bigger tube.
I was wondering, because I've seen in the magazines, they show a lot of beaded beads, and that was kind of interesting to me. So that's,
Yeah. Yeah. So play with that. And this is where you can start, you know, introducing, putting beads in between your stacks. So that's, but yeah, it's, you know, it's just, there's a lot of things you can do with it. If you really want to get into herringbone and some amazing stuff, her name is River Rose. Let me see if I can, she doesn't have a website, unfortunately. She has a Facebook. Let me see if I can find her on, let me go into here, but her Facebook stuff is amazing. Let me just, oh, okay. Let me see if I can find her first. Okay, so Facebook, River Rose.
she's on Facebook. She's probably on Instagram too.
She could be. I'm not in, I haven't figured out Instagram yet. So I'll just
join the crowd.
yeah, it's River Rose Photos. So this woman creates all these, let me see. Oh, there, okay. Let me go back into share screen and find her basic. Here we are. Okay, are you, I don't know if I can, here. So she creates these vessels. And this is all herringbone.
Wow.
And it is absolutely amazing. Let me see if she's got some more here. Photos of River Rose. Okay, here. Seriously, as I say, I haven't tried it, but all of these are done in size 11s.
Wow.
I know. She does teach. I know of people who have taken her classes, they love this stuff. And like this is a 2-part, it's like a perfume bottle. This is some of the stuff that you can do with herringbone. And then somehow she gathers it up.
I don't think I'd ever have the patience for that.
A friend of mine has done a whole purse. It took her forever. Took a lot of beads, but I mean, they're absolutely stunning.
Wow.
So, you know, this is where it can go just nuts. Oh, that's not one of hers, but that's, yeah, it's amazing. Just amazing stuff. So, yeah. So that's what I have for tonight. So I should explain, Linda, how I typically teach is to show you all the eye candy, give you the techniques, and say, run for it.
And then leave us with our heads spinning out of control.
Yeah.
But you always, I mean, I always send you projects as well. And I'm never far away. You can always contact me.
Well, that bracelet you saw is the only thing I've ever managed with all the beading classes I've taken. It's the only thing I've ever managed to finish.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We all have UFOs and PhDs and projects in bags or PIGs. Yep. So,
Mine are more WTF.
oh, okay. Yes. That's after you, without adding anything. Yes. Without. So what have you got there, Lisa? Okay. Yeah. That's spiraling quite well.
Yeah, it just started.
Wow.
Is it lit well? Can you see?
Yeah. No, I can see it quite well.
You see the little size 11s.
Yep.
Actually contribute really nicely to like a third stripe.
Yep. That looks good.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased. That's really
Yay.
yay. The other one didn't sort of
Yeah.
underwhelming. It's just like 2 strips of beads stuck
Yeah.
together.
It's not the most exciting, but
Mhm.
depending on what you want to do, you know, it might be something later on that it's like, oh, I could do that. And it becomes more structural as opposed to, you know, something that's gorgeous on its own. Actually, I've got
Yeah.
a piece, I'm not sure where it is, but it's all done in herringbone. It was a prototype. I'll find it and show it to you. So
And I think
yeah,
smaller beads and the right colors, all of that would be.
yes. Yeah, no, for sure. And, you know, and a lot of it is experimentation. So I'm just looking for my binder. Okay, so next week, we're doing cubic right angle weave.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be in Ireland.
Okay, well, I can't compete with Ireland.
No, but I
Definitely
couldn't
not.
even figure out the time changes, even if I was free.
You
So
probably,
I probably won't be in many classes for the rest of the thing.
that's okay.
but
That's okay.
I
You'll
really
probably,
appreciate it.
you're quite welcome. And I'm just going to turn off the recording.